This is how to use TikFinity, including adding alerts for follows, likes, and gifts, and adding chat overlays, goals, channel points, and more. This is the most powerful platform I've found for TikTok streamers so far. It's free, and many of these features work even if you don't have a stream key or access to Live Studio. So before we look at any of these features, the most important thing you need to know is when you're live, you need to keep this site open. If you close out of this site, it doesn't work, so keep it open. You can minimize it. So I've linked this in the description. Let's start with the basics. Let's click on setup, click on login or register, and just make an account. Once you've done that, head back to the setup page and enter any username you want. You can put your username or you can put somebody who's live. You can change this username whenever you want. So there's so many features on this website. Use the chapters and timestamps to find what you want. Let's begin with the basics. Let's start by adding follow alerts. So for follow alerts, I'm going to click on actions and events here, and I'm going to click create new action, and we're going to name this action new follower. We have a lot of different options here, but the one I think everybody will want is show user and text. And by default, this shows their profile picture and their username. But of course, we also want to type something like, thanks for following. You can then go ahead and change the color of this by clicking on this box here. We also have the option here to show animations, pictures, audio, or video. I'm going to click on show animation, and there's a massive list of animations here. Let's just choose the top one. Once you're happy, scroll down, click save, and we now move to create a new event here. We leave this top option on everyone, and we set this one to follow, and we simply choose our new follower action from the list. And if I just hit save now, whenever somebody follows, it's going to do this new follower action we made, which is show the animation and say thanks for following. Now we need to add our new follower alerts to OBS. So I'm going to click on OBS overlays here, and I'll show you most of these options later, but let's scroll down until we can find this My Actions section here. And we're just going to copy the URL of screen 1. I'm going to take this into OBS. I'll press the plus button, add a browser source. I'll just call this screen 1. Press OK, paste in our link, and we'll set the screen dimensions, change the height if you want, press OK. And we've now added our follow alerts to OBS, but let's test them. Let's click back onto actions and events. If we press the play button here, you can now see it says test user, thanks for following, and it's displaying our animation. If you're on Live Studio, similar step, press the plus button, but click on link instead, paste the link in, add a custom resolution, make sure turn on sound is selected, click add, and you're good to go. So we've added follow alerts. Now let's add alerts for new gifters. So I'm going to head back into actions and events. I'll click on create new action, and we'll call this one new gifts. Once again, there's a lot of options here, but let's show which gift has been sent and how many have been received. So once again, we'll show user and text, and you can see these first two parameters here are called gift name and repeat count. So if we paste these in, it's going to say, for example, Rose and then 10. So let's show some text saying that the user sent X number of gifts. So we just type sent, and then we'll copy the repeat count here. So there's the repeat count and X, and then we'll just copy gift name down here. So now it will say the username has sent this number of this gift. As ever, change the color if you want using this box. And of course, you can do any of these other effects as well. This time, let's play some audio when they send any gift. So I'll just click play audio here, and now I'll choose my file. So you can of course choose any audio file. I'll choose the champion song here. Took a few seconds, but it's now uploaded the file to the server. And now I just scroll down, change the display duration if my audio file is longer than 10 seconds. If not, I'll just leave it on 10, and I'll hit save. As we did with followers, we need an event to make this work. So we'll add the new event, everyone can trigger it, and I'll set it to sending a gift with minimum coin values. For me, I want an alert for every gift, so I'll set it to 1 coin. You can of course set this to whatever coin limit you want, and you can also set it here to sending specific gifts, and you can choose any gift off the list if you want a unique alert for different gifts. So I'll go back to sending a gift with minimum value, set it to 1, and just choose my new gifts action, which we created earlier. Now I need to add this to OBS again. As you can see here under new gift, it says the alert is on screen 1. And if you recall, we actually added screen 1 to OBS already. Let's say somebody follows and gifts basically at the same time. What that would do would queue them up. But if you don't want to queue them up, that's what we use screens for. So let me show you that now. If we just click here onto new gifts, we can change it to anything from screen 1 to screen 8. So let's just change it to screen 2. And now we click back to OBS overlays. scroll down to My Actions, change this drop down to Screen 2, and copy the link and add it to OBS as a browser source as we did previously. So we'll call it Screen 2, we'll paste the link in, we'll set it to the width, and change the height if you want, press OK, and of course it's on top of Screen 1 right now. Let me move it down, and let's once again test it to make sure it's working by clicking on Actions and Events. And now actually let's click both at the same time just to see what happened. And as you can see, both of the alerts are showing on the screen at the same time. So if you don't want your alerts to queue up, use different actions on different screens. If I set new gifts back to Screen 1, let's queue them up again to see what happens. But to save us time, I'll reduce these alerts to 3 seconds each before we do that. And you can see the gift one here is coming through first, followed by the follow alerts. As you can see, that's how the queue system works. So we have our gift and follow alerts. What about alerts for likes? Well, let's add those now. Let's hit create action. We'll call this one new likes. As per usual, I want to show the username of the person who's sending likes. So it shows their profile picture and their name. So let's say, thanks for sending likes here. And we'll change the color of the text if you want by clicking on this box here. As ever, you can choose any other option here. This time, let's show a picture on the screen. I'm going to show a thumbs up symbol, which I've saved into my downloads. As you can see, it uploads very quickly. Once you're happy, scroll down, press save. As per usual, we now need a new event to trigger this action we've created. So let's click on create new event. This time, click on sending likes and taps. You can define the number of likes to trigger the event. I'll leave it on 1. And on my drop down list, I'll just pick new likes and press save. As ever, we need to add this to OBS, so set this to whatever screen number you want here. Mine's on Screen 1, so you can see it's already added here. If you don't have Screen 1 added yet, click on OBS Overlays, scroll down to My Actions, and copy the URL for Screen 1 here, and add it to your OBS. As you can see, it's showing the image that I added, and it's saying thanks for sending likes. If we head back into OBS Overlays and look at the settings for My Actions, click on Customize here, you can add various different effects, and you can choose different fonts here. So let's pick a random font and let's add in all these effects. We'll press OK, and it's showing a preview here, and you can see in the top right it's showing it on my OBS as well. So play around with this and set it to whatever you like. Now a quick word on subscriber alerts, because you were probably expecting that next. Unfortunately, the developer hasn't found a good way to receive the subscriber alert from TikTok yet, so it's not possible to add sub alerts right now, but there is a few sub related features, so keep watching for those. So now let's move on to our chat overlay. If I click on OBS overlays, and you can see the top one here is chat. This is pretty self-explanatory. You can show the stream your chat using this widget here. So you can test this on any channel which is live right now, which is what I'm doing. Or if you've got it set to your own username, you can press this test button here, which adds a few comments for a subscriber, a mod, and a normal user. And the chat box is very customizable, so feel free to play around with all these options. Let me show what I like to do, which gets it similar to a Twitch chat overlay. So firstly, I'll make sure random username colors is picked. I'm then going to remove the profile pictures and set it to single line mini chat. As you can see here, it's looking a lot like a Twitch overlay now, but we want to remove this background here. That's pretty simple to do. On this background color option here against both subscribers, mods, and normal users, we click onto the options here. We just set this alpha number to 0, and we do it for the mods and the subscribers as well, like I'm doing now. And if you're not testing this on somebody who's live, you can just hit test to see what it looks like. And as you can see, it now looks a lot like a Twitch chat overlay. Of course, you make it look however you want, but let's add this to OBS now. We'll just hit copy URL, add another browser source. We'll call this chat overlay, paste the URL into the box. Once again, set the width, pick a height that you want, press OK. Now it's currently over my alerts, so I'll drag it down. And as soon as people start typing, you can see it's now showing on the screen. It looks like I've set the font to be a bit small, but of course, it's fully customizable, so you can change all the settings and set it to however you want. So now let's move on to a great feature, which is broadcast goals. And this simply allows you to set like, share, follow, and gift goals for your stream. And there's a lot of different ways to customize this. So all 4 goals here work pretty much the same way. So let's just focus on the like goal here. So obviously, firstly, you can set a number of likes that you're trying to reach. And you can also change this text in the bottom left here by typing in this box. I think leaving it on like goal is fine. Once you reach your like goal, you have 4 different options. Currently it's set to keep the goal unchanged, but you can also increase the goal. Increase goal adds the goal amount to your new goal. So for example, I'm on 50,000. The next goal would be 100,000, be 150,000, and so on. If you want to give your viewers a bit more of a challenge though, I like to use double goal. So for example, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 400,000. It gets much harder every time your viewers hit the goal. And finally, you can just hide the goal when you hit it. So as you can see now, the goal is hit and it's simply disappeared. This final option here is the most interesting one. You can trigger an action when your viewers hit the goal, and there's endless opportunities for this. Let me show you a quick one where your viewers could trigger an annoying sound after they hit the like goal. So if we just click select action and create new action here, I'll call this annoying sound, and your viewers could do any of these options when they hit the like goal. But for me, we're going to play some audio, and you can pick any audio file. I'm going to pick this siren sound. So now, whenever my viewers hit the like goal, it's going to play 17 seconds of an annoying sound. Of course, I have to scroll down and change the display duration to match the length of the audio. Add anything else you want. I just want the sound. So then I'll just hit save. And as you can see here, the action on reaching the like goal is now an annoying sound. Of course, we need to add this to OBS. So we simply copy the URL. Let's add another browser source. We'll call this likes goal. Press OK. Simply paste in the link. Set the width and the height to whatever you want. Press OK, and as you can see now, my likes goal has loaded in. To make sure the annoying sound also plays, let's click on Actions and Events. Check which screen the annoying sound is on. For me, it's on screen 3. So we go in OBS Overlays, scroll down to My Actions, and make sure screen 3 is also added to OBS, along with the like goal. So now, when the viewers hit the goal, it will play an annoying sound. Finally, you can fully customize the colors here. You can also remove the title bar at the bottom and change it from a parallelogram to a rectangle. Once you're happy, obviously, just hit OK, and the new options should be showing. Everything I've showed you for likes, you can do with the share, follow, and coins goal. Sadly, no sub goals yet. If you've enjoyed this so far, consider subscribing, and if you'd rather I just set up the alerts for you, then check out my Fiverr page, which is in the description. But now let's move on to channel points, and this is a powerful system and there's a lot to cover, but let's start on the setup page. So your viewers currently have 3 ways of gaining points while they're in the live stream. I believe by default it's set to just points per coin, but if you want to reward them for sharing and for just being in the chat, tick these boxes and set the points to whatever you want. You can also change the name of your points currency in this box here. And for your subscribers, you can give them a points bonus. And it looks like you can set this up to 100%. So this would give my subscribers 2 points per coin and 1 point per chat, for example. If we scroll down, there's also a level system. So once my viewers hit 50 points, they'll gain a level, but there's also a multiplier to make it harder to gain each new level. For some reason, you can only set this between 1 and 1.1. But if you look at this box here, if we set it to just 1, then it's the same amount of points to gain each level. But if you move it up to 1.1, then you can see it gets increasingly difficult as you get to each new level. So the other options on this page aren't too relevant to channel points. So let's move on to this page here called User and Points. So this is pretty straightforward. This is just tracking how many points that your viewers have. By default, it's sorted by points total. The first page here is going to effectively show you who your most loyal viewers are. If we then click into transactions here, this is basically a live feed of channel points being given out. So obviously if you've enabled it just for being in the chat, most of the points are going to be given out for chat minutes. But you can see somebody sent a rose here who set it to 1 point per TikTok coin. So they've gained a point for that. Looks like there's nobody sharing this stream right now, but we had it set to 3 points a share, and that would show here as well. You can also filter this out. So for example, if I just type coins into the description here, it's now showing a live feed of only people who are gifting to me. So if you've struggled to keep up with people who are gifting in the past, this is a good way to track it. If you ever just want to wipe everybody's points, just click into setup here, scroll down towards the bottom and click erase all points or levels, and that completely clears the database of all channel points. So of course, it's all good gaining points, but how do your users spend these points? So these are your default chat commands, and of course you'll want to add your own commands too, so I'll show you that in a bit. But firstly, a word on chatbots here. As you can see here, chatbot feature is not available on TikTok. That's just because TikTok simply doesn't allow bots in chats right now. So for your users to get the answers to the command that they're typing, we need to use an OBS overlay instead. So if we click onto OBS overlays, we scroll down and it's this command info screen here. So what this does, if a user types any command that has a text reply, it appears in this overlay. So let's just show an example. Let me just copy this URL into OBS. We'll add it as a browser source. We'll call it command info screen as it's called in TikFinity. We'll paste it in here, change the width once again, press OK here. Now I'm going to go into the live stream of the channel I'm testing this on. If I click on chat commands, you can see there's all different commands here. Let me try typing into this live stream !help, and any second now, in the top right here, as you can see, it's a bit small, but we can resize it. The help command has now worked and it's now showing on your screen. So on this page, !help just displays every single command. Score will show how many points each user has. And of course, you can see this yourself here in the user and points section. !send lets you send points from one user to another and explains it here. And we'll talk about the Wheel of Fortune and the coin drop in a little bit. But let's move to custom commands here. And of course, shortly, we'll add some commands ourselves that our users can spend the points on. Now, I think the terminology in custom commands is a little bit confusing. So I'm going to recommend changing this one to !commands, change this one to subcommands, and change this one to my commands. And we're about to add our own custom commands, and that's what these three commands will do. So every single viewer, for example, would type !commands, and on the OBS overlay here, it would show every single custom command that we've made that they can type. So let's do that right now. Let's help the viewers spend their channel points. So we're going to have to click back into actions and events for this. And basically your viewers can spend their points on any action. So let's create a new action here. And your viewers can effectively do any of these options here with their points. So I'm just going to pick the very simplest one, which is show user and text. So I'll start by titling it up here. And I'm going to call this one burned 10,000 points, and you'll see why in a second. And again, I could pick any option here. I'm just going to click show user and text. By default, it shows the profile picture, it shows the username, and we add some custom text beneath. So it's going to say the user, and I'm going to type burned 10,000 channel points with an exclamation mark. And I could set a different color here if I wanted. Most important part here is we scroll down and we click on remove points, and then we choose how many points are being removed. In my case, I'm removing 10,000 for this command. You can, of course, also add points. So for example, if somebody gifts you, you might want to add some points on, and this is where you would do that. Keep in mind though, that in your setup here, you actually set a default number of points to be added for new gifters anyway. Regardless, in this example, we were removing 10,000 channel points, and we're showing a message showing that they burned 10,000 channel points. I'll hit save, and I also need to add a new event here. So we'll create a new event here, and the key one here is click on commenting a command. Of course, if you want to make custom commands that only your subs or your mods or any specific person in your chat can trigger, click any of these options here. But like I say, I want anyone with 10,000 points to trigger this command. So I'm just going to make this command !burn. As discussed previously, people do gain levels. So if you want to set a minimum level for this, feel free. In my case, it's set to 10,000 points. So that'll be quite a high level anyway. And now I just pick an action from the list, which was burn 10,000 points. So now when they type !burn, it triggers the action, which shows the text and removes 10,000 points. So I just hit save, and the command is now added. So that's how to add custom commands so your viewers can spend their channel points. Don't forget, you need to create an action, and you also need to create an event which has the command name. So if we head back into chat commands here, and I go back on this person's live stream, if I now type !commands into this live stream, it should show in here our burn command is now showing, and that it costs 10,000 points. If I type !burn, I obviously don't have enough points, and it's telling me on the screen that I need 10,000 points to spend it. So it's not just custom commands that their viewers can spend channel points on. We also have, as previously mentioned, the Wheel of Fortune. Now before we switch to the Wheel of Fortune option, this is what triggers the Wheel of Fortune, and I think it makes more sense to make this !spin instead of win, but you can set this to whatever you want, because to me, !spin triggers a spin on the Wheel of Fortune. And before we actually click into the Wheel of Fortune, let's click on OBS overlays, and I'm now going to scroll down until I've found the Wheel of Fortune here. I'll just hit test, and you get a quick overview of what the Wheel of Fortune looks like. Basically, your viewers spin the wheel and they win this many points. So let's now click into the Wheel of Fortune to have a look at the settings. And there's a basic wheel like you just saw there, or you can completely create your own wheel, which is more advanced. So here's the default options here for the Wheel of Fortune. It costs 5 points to spin it. Most of the numbers on the wheel go between 1 and the number you specify here. But if the spinner gets lucky, there is one section of the wheel where they can hit this number of points here, and then here they have to wait 10 minutes until they can spin the wheel again. If you want to make it extra special for the person who hits the main win, then you can add an action here. So for example, you could play a special sound, you could play a special video. So just go ahead, click create new action, choose your audio, choose your video, show some text if you want. Most important thing you have to pay attention for here is which overlay screen it's on. I'm going to set it to screen 3. Just keep that screen number in mind because you'll need to add that OBS overlay along with the Wheel of Fortune overlay. I'm actually going to choose the annoying sound action which we picked earlier. So that's going to play a siren sound whenever somebody hits the 1 in 24 chance of the maximum win. So of course, we now need to add the wheel to OBS. So I'll click onto OBS overlays. Firstly, if you set a special action for the main win, then pick which screen number that I told you to remember earlier on. For me, that's screen 3. So I'll copy the URL of screen 3 into OBS. I'll simply call it screen 3, paste it in here, add the width and the height to whatever you like, press OK. Although it's not displaying everything, this is needed. If somebody hits the main win and you don't have this screen overlay added, then it's not going to play the action that you picked. But let's now scroll down to the Wheel of Fortune. This is the main one that you want. Copy the URL of the wheel into OBS. I'll just call it wheel. Press OK. Of course, once again, paste it in, add the dimensions that you want, and press OK. And we can now test that it's working in OBS by hitting the test. And as you can see, it's now spinning. That's the basics of the Wheel of Fortune. It's a fun way for your viewers to gain a few extra channel points and to try and get a sound to hit the main win and maybe play a custom action. However, you can get even more advanced with this and make your own wheel. So for my example, I'm just going to make a basic wheel with 3 different segments which play 3 different sounds. As you can see, you can make a wheel of up to 24 fields. So we'll start by clicking Use Custom Fields, add the new field, and we decide how many points the user gains for each field. You can also subtract points with this, and since I'm going to be playing sounds when they spin the wheel, I want my viewers to lose points because I don't want to be spammed with sounds. So for example, they're going to lose 10 points every time they hit this segment. Field color here is just what color it appears on the wheel, and custom description here is important. When they look at the wheel, this is what it says on the wheel. So I'm going to play a Homer Simpson donut sound. So I'll just call this Homer. As you can see, there's not a great deal of room because on the wheel there is up to 24 segments. And there's not much room if you're showing all 24 segments. So the viewer loses 10 points. The background color is this color. And it says Homer on the wheel. Now we need to add the action. So I'll create a new action here. Call it Homer Sound. Tick play audio. And I'll just add in the audio file. We don't actually need to click add or remove points here because we've set that in the Wheel of Fortune options. We do need to once again pay attention to the overlay screen here. So this is set to screen 1. As you can see in my OBS here, I have screen 3 in my OBS already, so I'll change mine to screen 3. Now I'll hit save. As I said, I'm going to add 3 different fields, so let's quickly add 2 more fields. And this time I want them to lose 15 points. I'll call this one Chrissy. I'll choose an action once again. I'll create a new action. We'll call this one Chrissy Sound. I'll add the audio once again, and this time I'll choose my Chrissy Sound file. Once again, I'll make sure I've got the correct overlay screen picked. Press save. Now off screen, I've added in the 3rd one. So now let's see what our wheel's looking like. If I click back into OBS overlays, scroll down to the wheel, click test, and you can see I've now got my 3 segments. As you can see, as the text is slowing down, I can read what each one says. When you're testing, it doesn't show the sounds. Let's test this properly by going into the live stream now, typing !spin. And any second now, the wheel is spinning. And once it stops, it should play the sound.
Donuts.
As you can hear, the sound played. So the final option we have here is to allow the chat to gamble points. So as you know, by default, it costs 5 channel points to spin, but you can allow your chat to gamble more points up to the maximum you set here. In our custom example here, it wouldn't actually make sense, but if you're giving people points on the wheel, then it might make sense. As it says in the help here, the value of the rewards will increase by the same ratio. So if we turn the custom fields off and I gambled double the minimum of 5, which is 10, if I gambled 10 points, I might win up to 60 if I'm lucky. The final thing we have for points is the coin drop here. The terminology is a bit confusing. This is nothing to do with TikTok coins and it's nothing to do with gifts. But basically, you can dump some coins in your chat and your viewers can try and claim them using !get. In my example here, I'm putting 1,000 coins into the chat. We're doing that 5 times, so 5,000 coins total. And the user is timed out for 20 seconds, so they can't just spam the command, but they can type it again after 20 seconds, unless you click only 1 coin per user. Once again, a little bit confusing. It says 1 coin, but in my example, it would actually give them 1,000 coins. They just couldn't type the command again. Finally, you could set this to automatically happen every few minutes using this option here. So basically now, if I tick this box, every 5 minutes, 5,000 points are going to be available in my chat for the viewers to claim. A quick word for phone streamers: if you don't have access to Live Studio or if you don't have access to a stream key, you can still use some of these features just by being on the website. So for example, if you're playing a sound after receiving a gift, you just follow the gift alert steps that I took earlier. And if you don't have a stream key or Live Studio, simply head down here to the My Actions section and the sound will actually play out of your web browser. So as long as you have good speakers and your phone can pick those up, your viewers, for example, could still hear a custom sound when you receive a gift. So my first reaction on finding this website was, what's the catch? Why is there so much for free here? So there is a few restrictions. Firstly, if we go in user and points, we have a maximum of 5,000 users in the database. If we click onto start here, it says we also have a maximum of 10 custom actions. So if you're a big channel or if you want more actions, you have to click on setup, scroll all the way down, and there is this option for TikFinity Pro, which is $19 a month, which gives you unlimited actions and events and up to 50,000 users in your database instead of 5,000, and it says you can cancel it at any time. The other problem you might incur is this site simply not working. Recently, it seems like TikTok has been releasing updates which breaks websites like this, so occasionally you might find that this site simply doesn't work. Finally, let's quickly go over a few troubleshooting issues which might cause TikFinity not to work properly. So firstly, if you're playing custom sounds, head into your actions, check which screen that they're on, and make sure you have that screen showing on OBS. So go into your OBS overlays, make sure you have the correct screen URL in your OBS. Once you've gone live on TikTok, you might have to press this button here on the start page, which says connect to TikTok live. So make sure you press that. If you're still having issues, don't forget you need to keep the TikFinity website open for the entire duration of your stream. Give it a refresh if you're still having issues and it will reload everything. And the other thing you can refresh is if you click into OBS and double click the relevant browser source, scroll down in the settings here and click refresh the cache of the current page, and that will make sure all your browser sources are up to date. So that is the basics of TikFinity. If you'd like me to set the alerts up for you, then check out my Fiverr, which is in the description. Don't forget to join my Discord if you need any help, and thanks for watching.